Saturday, August 19th, found the Skullfest infecting several neighborhoods across the city. A morning brunch brought Bloody Marys to the bleary-eyed, as well as a buffet of hardcore bands to accompany the repast. As the sun climbs in the sky, the denim-vested Skullfest masses descend on Artist Image Resource in the North Side, taking place amongst the scattered tools, products, and varied ephemera of the artists of A.I.R. Saturday's afternoon fete provided two stages, one punk-focused, the other metal-centric, to entertain the Heshers in attendance. Divided between a performance area in A.I.R.'s garage and a stage set up in an adjacent large and darkened space, the two stages allowed for a near-continuous barrage of musical mayhem. On hand for the occasion were the requisite merch tables for the bands in attendance, as well as a number of vendors selling a range of items from vintage clothing to DIY items, even old cassettes and VHS tapes. First up, a local band billed as Chiller took the lead from the garage. Surrounded by examples of many of the concert posters created within A.I.R., the band billed as Chiller delivered a set of barbaric Pittsburgh hardcore, abrasive walls of distortion giving way to occasional washes of phase guitar, providing an invigorating start to the afternoon. Fellow Pittsburgh band D.O.G. assails the adjacent room shortly after the first band's phase distortion has faded into the ether. Delivering an aggressive statement in under 15 minutes, D.O.G. leveled the growing crowd with a vicious squall of destructive noise as a varied assortment of consumer-related video is projected behind the band. Up next, O.D.D. from Montreal dominate the garage with their incessant buzzsaw punk. Led by the forceful delivery of vocalist Dolly, O.D.D.'s driving charge supplies an energetic dose of potent punk from north of the border. Barreling through the darkened room, Los Hoyacos blister the audience with their unique brand of deranged skate punk. With roots in Peru and origins in the Bay Area, this Oakland-based band tear through their set with a series of disturbing images in the background. A scathing vocal performance from the band's singer Garzo, nearing the unhinged, would make David Yao himself proud. Barreling through the air, Pollen's acidic assault sets the garage to a vicious churn. Clamoring bass, battering drums, and an acrid guitar burl lend support to the strained hostility and rabid desperation in the vocals. Hailing from Philadelphia, Pollen bring a vicious hardcore attack to level the Skullfest crowd in a mere 12 minutes. Traveling from Houston, Texas, the Secret Prostitutes spread an exuberant strain of punk to A.I.R.'s already sizable crowd. The band's masked drummer delivers his lyrics predominantly in Indonesian as the band rips through a buoyant set that seems perpetually on the edge of tearing apart. Originally congealed in Cape Fear and led by long-traveled band leader T-Roy, Sourvein's apocalyptic resin scrape spreads through the garage from this long-running sludge institution, with set-list selections ranging from the band's sordid self-titled debut emanation in 2000 to their Southern Lord breakthrough Will to Mangle, all the way through 2016's Aquatic Occult. Sourvein's set lurches forth as a slow churning pit circled. The crowd was in the middle of a spontaneous slow-mo bro-down when someone accidentally flipped a light switch, casting the room into darkness. The band soldiered on in the inky black until a single light cast an extra-dimensional shadow over the rest of the set. Closing with Dirty South from 2000, band and audience team with an atavistic eddy in the dark and shadowy room. Midnight drove in from Cleveland with the hope of seeing Pittsburgh's legendary doomed death crew Dream Death, but a sold-out and packed-to-the-rafters show would have to suffice. Band mastermind A.I.R, conducting an absolutely vicious set, whipped the crowd into a fury with their venomous, blistering attack. Opening with Death Scream, the darkened room can barely contain the seething mass of punk and metal humanity straining and flailing at the seams. Satanic Royalty swings with a sleazy conceit, while a triumvirate of sordid tunes next assail the seething crowd. Black rock and roll, lust, filth, and sleaze, and prowling leather lay waste to the audience in quick successions. 2012's I Am Violator rages from the stage next, followed by the good time ease of Endless Slut. Continuing to agitate the crowd with their roiling power, Midnight whip up the audience with a feverish rendition of All Hail Hell, and Evil Like a Knife oozes with sadistic intent. Advancing through the set's second half, with relentless power, You Can't Stop Steel and Who Gives a Fuck embodies the band's relentless vitriol, while Unholy and Rotten closes out the set, leaving a raucous crowd chanting Midnight. Returning to the stage, Athenar and company re-emerge to a wildly clamoring crowd and unleash Rip This Hell to sate the rabid audience. Powerful and potent, Midnight owns the afternoon crowd at A.I.R. with their vicious delivery and unhinged strength. 2 more shows to keep the party going after Skullfest Punk and Metal Throwdown at the Northside's A.I.R. First up, Cativo in Lawrenceville hosted an all-night punk rock review headlined by UK anarcho-punks Omega Tribe and O.D.G Boston hardcore crew The Proletariat. Second, a late-night hardcore throwdown at the Rock Room, led by a pair of Canadian bands, SHIT and Alien Nation, settles in for the night to close the bar down. Unfortunately, a pre-existing engagement precluded my attendance at either show, but if the preceding weekend was any indication, my absence was definitely my loss.